Cypress Financial Group presents the Retirement Roundtable podcast with John Scallan. Get more at cypressfinancial.net. Now, let's get to the show.
My name is Mark Owens. Before we get into it, John Scallan, you gave your thoughts on the Lane train coming to LSU on the Cypress Financial Facebook page, and you are fired up and, needless to say, pretty excited, John.
Well, I think my quote was, if I had $25 million every year to spend on players, I might be able to coach the team. Mark, all kidding aside, Lane is stepping into a great situation. I hope he is still hungry and has that fire in his belly and takes the Tigers back to where we belong. Yeah. The big national championship show, which, by the way, congrats to you and your beloved Georgia Bulldogs. What a performance last week, man. I know you got to be proud of that team.
Listen, man, we still got a lot of work to do, but I ain't going to lie. Man, that felt good to stick it to Bama. I'll take it.
Well, the saying in Louisiana is we can go 1-12 as long as we beat Alabama. That, used to be the mantra. I don't think that's totally true, but those were the losses that hurt the most. But again, congrats to you. You guys look really strong. You might be the favorite going into the tourney.
All right, fingers crossed. I'm not getting too ahead of myself, one game at a time, but I do want you to go to the Cypress Financial Facebook page. We got a chance to talk to John right after Lane Kiffin announced that he's coming to LSU. Kind of got his raw thoughts about Lane Kiffin, now their new head coach of the Tigers. Again, you can see that video at the Cypress Financial Facebook page. John, let's get to it, because imagine waking up on your 67th birthday ready to finally retire, and then discovering that your Social Security check is 25% less than what you planned on. Not because you did anything wrong, but because Congress ran out of time. I want you to hear this clip from economist E.J. Antoni, who told Fox Business about this possibility.
Look, for a lot of you folks, the system is not going to look like, at the time of your retirement, it's not going to look like what it does today. That's just the reality. We're not having enough kids. The population is not growing fast enough. Specifically, the number of working people is not growing fast enough. And if you're going to keep a Ponzi scheme going, which, structurally, that's what Social Security is. It relies on an ever-growing increase of people paying into the system to pay for today's retirees. If you're not going to keep that growing, that population, that working group, then you are going to have to make structural changes. That's the math.
Ooh, he said Ponzi scheme right there. He said a lot, John, pretty direct. Should the families you serve, for our audience, should they be worried about this?
Well, Mark, here's what concerns me. I wonder how many people listening right now have built the majority of their entire retirement plan around Social Security being there in full. And if that assumption could be wrong or partially wrong, then the whole plan collapses. Mark, let me tell you, and let's just say this is a hypothetical scenario.
Okay.
Let's say Robert and Susan, both 64, live here in Louisiana. Robert worked down on the river at one of our refineries for 38 years. Susan was a nurse at, the big health system here in the New Orleans area. Listen, they saved about $600,000. Robert walks in, shows me his Social Security statement, and this is a quote. John, we're counting on this $3,200 a month. If that drops to $2,400, if it drops by a third, we are in trouble. Immediately, that's when I knew they did not have a retirement plan. Mark, what they actually had was hope.
Hope is not a plan, John Scallan. So what should people be asking themselves?
Mark, the real question is simply this. Can I build a retirement plan that works even if Congress does not fix Social Security? I mean, think about it. Right now, Social Security may be, let's just say, $2,800 a month for you. What if it's $2,200? What if they means test it? What if they raise your Medicare premiums because of your income? Many people have zero backup plan for any of those potential situations. Here at Cypress, this is what we do that's different. We help people create multiple income streams that aren't dependent upon the same variables. First, we plan for Social Security conservatively, maybe, looking at 80% of the projected amount. Secondly, we look at structuring a portion, just a portion of your savings to create reliable, guaranteed income streams that are not tied to the stock market. We're talking about contractual income you can count on. Now you've got Social Security plus guaranteed income covering your essentials. And let's say we just throw in another 20% over and above the essentials. The rest of your portfolio, it stays invested for growth. That's the difference between hoping Congress figures it out and knowing that you'll be fine regardless of what Congress does.
Let me give you that number, 504-732-1001. Again, 504-732-1001 to reach out to John and the team. But John, what about the people who are already retired? What do you say to them?
Mark, it's never too late to get strategic. If you're already retired and heavily dependent upon Social Security, we need to look at possibly repositioning some of your other assets. Maybe that means moving some of the market exposure that you may have into maybe a bit more conservative positions. The point is simply this: Congress moves slowly, really slowly. By the time they act, we need to help you get your house in order. I mean, Mark, the statistics don't lie. People are living longer. Those pensions that were the stalwart of working for companies decades ago, by and large, those are gone. Social Security has some uncertainty to it. Listen, healthcare costs, they are exploding. And the thing is many advisors are still just throwing money into buckets and hoping that it grows. That is not what people need when they're 5 years from retirement.
We're talking to the people in retirement, close to retirement, that are going to be relying on their Social Security. John, what's the easiest thing that an adult can do right now?
Well, certainly you can pick up the phone, give us a call, 504-732-1001. Listen, you can call us and say, look, I would like to get my retirement ready report. I want to say that again. We will develop for you at no cost very quickly a retirement ready report. Here's what happens. Our team will either walk you through a few quick questions, takes 5 or 10 minutes. We don't even need your account statements, or if you're in a hurry, we'll just grab your contact information and we will follow up. Within 24 hours, you will have a personalized report. Here's what it does. It answers 3 questions. Number 1, are you on track? Number 2, what does your retirement actually cost? What do you need in terms of income? And number 3, here's a big one. What are the biggest risks in your portfolio that you may not be thinking about? Again, 504-732-1001. Or if you prefer, go to cypressfinancial.net, fill out the form online. Either way, no cost, no obligation, just precision clarity on where you stand in preparation for your retirement.
So, John, if you've been watching the financial news, you probably heard the predictions about more market volatility. I want you to hear this clip from Morningstar's Amy Arnott, who said,
I think it's important to remember that market volatility is part of life and something you have to live with as a long-term investor. I think it's always helpful to try not to get too distracted by day-to-day headlines and is the market up or down on a given day. I think if you can stay focused on your long-term goals, diversify your portfolio, and rebalance, those things are all going to help you in the long term.
So, John, she mentioned diversifying and rebalancing. Now, for an adult in or near retirement, what does that really mean?
Well, let me back up. Again, I agree 100% by what she said, and I want to repeat something that she said. I think it's important to remember that market volatility is a part of life. If you are invested in the capital markets, it's something you have to live with as a long-term investor. Mark, if you're 35 or 30 years until retirement, market drops, hey, you're not that worried about it. You're working, you've got a steady paycheck, your dollar cost averaging into your 401k. That money you're putting in, you're buying all these equities on sale. Market recovers, you are golden. But Mark, what about someone who's 66 and you're actually living off of that money? You're not working anymore. That paycheck is gone. That's a completely different situation. Let me be a myth. Let me bust a myth here because, I hear this all the time. Here it is. The market always comes back. So just stay invested. Mark, here's the truth. Yes, markets recover, but if you are retired and pulling money out of your stock market portfolio during a decline, you're actually selling shares when they are down. Those shares never recover because they're gone. This is the mortal sin, the arch enemy. We call this sequence of returns risk. Two people, same average return over 20 years, but here's what happens. One person is pulling money out early and the market takes a dive early. The other starts taking withdrawals when the market is up. Completely different outcomes. One runs out of money, the other is fine, Mark.
So talk to me more about a proper diversification for a retiree. What exactly does that look like?
For retirees, it's not just owning different stocks. It's diversifying between growth money and conservative money. Let's talk about growth money. These are market investments that grow beautifully and sometimes they take a hit. Conservative money. This is money that is designed for stability, predictable income, and again, that won't have lots of market volatility, especially when the markets crash. Mark, the reality is that you need both. All growth, you could get crushed in a bad sequence in the market. All conservative, you're not fighting inflation over 30 years, right? All conservative. It's about the right mix for your particular situation. Mark, let me tell you, again, hypothetically, let's call him James, right? Retires last year, 66 years old, $720,000. He walks in the door and he says, man, I'm just exhausted. I'm tired of watching my equities bounce around. I need to know what I can actually spend. He had money, but Mark, get this. He had zero confidence. He was the guy looking at CNBC every single day. Here's what we did. We structured about 40% into conservative positions for stability, the anchor of his portfolio. This covers his core expenses no matter what the market does. The other 60% stays invested for growth and it outpaces inflation. When the market dropped in October, he did not panic. His bills are covered by the foundation and he's not forced to commit that mortal sin to start pulling money out of his portfolio when the market is down. That is what we call strategic positioning.
CypressFinancial.net to get more from John Scallan and the team. We're talking about being diversified. But John, what about rebalancing?
Yeah, at least annually, probably more in certain portfolios, quarterly, even semi-annually. If your growth positions have a huge year and suddenly you're at 75% in equities instead of 60%, you are taking on more risk than you are designed for. Time to trim the gains, move them to conservative positions. Or maybe you've been pulling from your conservative side and it's completely depleted. It's time to refill that bucket from the growth bucket. The key is having a plan for when and why, not just doing these moves randomly. And Mark, here's what I see often. People have accounts scattered everywhere. Had a client walk in with 9 different folders, old 401ks, IRAs here, brokerage account there, an inheritance bucket over here. And again, having no idea if this is actually working together, just a pile of information and statements.
Somebody's listening this weekend and they're going, man, John's talking to me. I'm a little concerned about my own situation. What can they do? How can you help?
You know, I wonder how many people out there who are listening right now who know exactly how much they're paying in fees across all of their accounts. I'd bet that it's not a big number percentage-wise. What about, or whether they're actually diversified or they just think they are because they have 7 or 8 different mutual funds? Or how about if the risk they're taking actually matches their retirement timeline? Start with this. Give us a call, 504-732-1001, and ask us for your retirement ready report. Our team, we will walk you through some quick questions about your specific situation. No account statements are needed for this initial report. Takes 5 to 10 minutes. And again, within 24 hours, you'll have your personalized report showing exactly where you stand. Now, Mark, what I would, suggest to our listeners is once you've got that report, if you're ready to go deeper and see exactly what's happening with your investments, the fees, the true diversification, the actual risks that you are taking, that's when we do what's called a portfolio X-ray. A much deeper dive where we run your investments through professional tools, specifically through Morningstar, Riskalyze, Nitrogen. What these reports show us is the good, the bad, and the ugly. You'll need your account statements ready for that, but the analysis is always complimentary. Start with the retirement ready report, then we'll talk about the X-ray if that makes sense to you. Again, 504-732-1001, or always find us at cypressfinancial.net.
Before we hit pause, do you have any final thoughts for us?
Yeah, Mark, just a real quick one here. If you're out there listening today and you're thinking, I don't know if I have that confidence that I've got this equation, at least initially figured out, for my retirement plan, give us a call, 504-732-1001. Just ask for your retirement ready report. Our team will walk you through some quick questions about your situation. We don't need any account statements or balances, 5 to 10 minutes. And again, within 24 hours, we'll have that personalized report in your hands. Here's what it's going to tell you. Am I on track? What does my retirement look like in terms of income? And what risks should I be planning for that I may have not thought of? Then if you want to go deeper, we can schedule a complimentary meeting. We'll spend an hour to review your situation, showing you what is possible for this next chapter of your life. Again, we're in Metairie, we're in Mandeville. Find us on Facebook at Cypress Financial, where we post educational content, bunch of fun stuff online. I think you'll enjoy it, but don't wait too long. Decisions you make now shape the next 30 years in retirement. Let's make sure you get these right.
Investment advisory services offered through Cypress Financial Group, a registered investment advisor firm. Registration is not an endorsement of the firm by securities regulators. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance products, including annuities offered through Cypress Financial Group, John Scallan, Louisiana Insurance License Number 1064997. The firms are separate entities. Annuity guarantees rely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company and are not offered by Cypress Financial Group. Read your contract for restrictions, limitations, or penalties.